Today's video, you kind of took a quick look at that thumbnail and you seen that bike exploded. What the heck is going on with that? Today we're going to talk about that, so stay tuned. Before we hit the road, I ended up needing a new battery. So I went out to the battery, I think it's Battery Plus, and I went in there to get a battery. I already kind of looked at the price and seen, you know, versus a lead acid battery or a lithium battery. So while I was there, they kind of said, you know, what do you guys got in stock? They were looking at it and they said, they showed me the lead battery, and I'm like, well, do you guys have the lithium battery? I think it had an extra year's warranty on it. 2 years versus 3 years, and it was about, I don't know, maybe 100 or a little less. And I thought, you know, maybe I'll go with a lithium battery. Well, here's some of the concerns that I have with lithium batteries. You know, I got an RV. And if any of you watched The Professional Monkey, he kind of went through this a while back. He put some lithium batteries in, ended up the charging system did not charge up his batteries fully charged. So the difference between a lithium battery and an AGM battery, lead battery, is that a lithium battery has to be charged to a higher point to keep it fully charged. Where an acid battery, once it gets to 12.8, it's at its full charge. That's the first issue I have. Because if I buy a lithium battery here from the Harley store, they make me buy a new tender. I have to get a different tender to charge it. When I did some research on cars, some of the foreign cars actually have a device that you can go into the alternator system, the charging system of the car, and you can adjust it. Most motorcycles, cars, charge between about 14.1 to 14.2 or 14.3. Well, a lithium battery really needs about 14.5 to keep it fully charged. Some of the paperwork that I've read actually said that if you don't change it, you should check your battery every 3 months to make sure that lithium battery is fully still maintained its full charge. So that's one of the issues that I have, because my bike, which is a 2014 CVO, it came out with a lead battery. They didn't even have lithium batteries back then to put in a motorcycle. So there was no adjustment or anything like that. And since I've got my Dakota gauges now, I can see my charging is 14.1. That's pretty much all the time is what my charging system is running. So that's my first concern if I put it in. The second thing that he said is, where is your battery at? The battery guy. Where is your battery at? And I'm like, it's under the seat. Do you realize how hot that lithium battery could get? And I'm like, I don't know. He says, well, they could max out before they go crazy. It could max out at 752 degrees. And I got this off the internet. A regular acid battery, because it's got lead plates in it, would be about 158 degrees at a maximum. So he said, you know, if it's in the side compartment, it'd get more air, it would flow across it, things like that, it'd be a little less. Well, that was what made me think about it. First thing, on my battery, and I don't know how many bikes have this, the ECM is laying right on top of that lithium battery. No matter what, it does run hotter than a lead battery. There's no doubt in that. Any statistics you look, it's going to be hotter running. My second concern is when you've seen that picture that I had on the front of the thumbnail, what happens if I'm driving down the road, we're doing 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, we're on our way to Sturgis or wherever we're riding to, and that battery decides it's going to get to around 700 degrees or even 300 or 400 degrees, and it ignites my seat. What's going to happen? Are we going to be able to stop? Or are we going to panic and have a wreck? Either way, we're going to get hurt either way around it. So that's my number one concern now. I didn't buy a lithium battery this time. I ended up putting another AGM battery in it. A lead acid battery is what I put back in my bike. Because when I started thinking about that, especially with that ECM laying on top of it, that's definitely, that kind of heat's not going to be any good for it. And once again, it wasn't designed to have that kind of heat on it. A lot of people say, oh, you're going to get airflow around it even though it's back there. The motor is blocking the battery when it's under your seat. So if it's getting anything, it's getting more heat from the engine. So that's my concern today and I know there's going to probably be a whole lot of people going to tell me all these different things about lithium batteries. Good or bad, this case, that's why I pass this along to you. This battery guy wouldn't have told me. I would have probably bought a lithium battery and would have hoped for the best. Now, I do know some of the people that are our subscribers that have had lithium batteries. Now, I probably don't know everybody, but I've had 2 or 3 that actually said they had a lot of trouble with their lithium battery, wouldn't stay charged. Part of my issue, too, when I'm talking about this is it needs a higher voltage to charge. A car, motorcycle, lawnmower, anything you're buying, most of the time they have a regulator and it's going to shut it off at a certain, once it gets to that, like a car, 12.8 is the ideal charging. Once it gets to maintain that voltage, usually an alternator would go down and it would drop down the charging because you don't want to cook the battery. So that's some of the issues that I have about thinking about getting a lithium battery. If you've had a lithium battery and you're having no trouble, let me know. If you've had a lithium battery and you've had some ECM problems with your bike, let me know that too. If you happen to have a bike that caught on fire, could even be one that I've seen several of them that's caught on fire when they had the tinder on it. Not quite sure, because usually by the time it all gets burnt, there's not enough evidence there for police or fire department to be able to determine exactly where that fire, they know it started on the bike, but they can't tell for sure. The wires are all burned up, the battery's burned up, so you can't really tell what the issue is. Somebody else said, a lead acid battery could blow up. Yes, it can. Typically, a lead acid battery is more likely when you charge it. What happens is that's why you kind of want to get a lead acid battery that's sealed up. Doesn't have any way for the gases to come out of the battery, because that's what starts it. If you have a battery that's low or it's overcharged, it's putting out gases. If you make a spark around that battery, it could explode. When I had my service station, my dad had one, he blew up in his face. So yes, it does happen, but not as typical as what these lithium batteries are. A lot of you may have seen the Teslas that have had problems with fires and stuff on that. My problem is, like a Tesla, you could definitely get out of the car probably pretty quick. I don't know anybody that burned up in one yet. But on the motorcycle, riding down the highway, right here where that battery's at, there's some important things there. Above it, that is. And don't want that to be burned up. I'm not telling you not to buy one. I'm just telling you what I found out about it, what I did a little research on it, and to find out that even if it's double the temperature, that's not good for a bike that was designed for maybe a top of 158 degrees at maximum, versus could be, because some people are going to say, oh, it's never going to get to 700. Let's just double it and say it's 300 degrees. Is that going to do anything for your ECM? No, it's not. So that, we're going to leave you right here. Put all your comments, good, bad, negative, put it down here in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. And I know there's some of our vendors sell these batteries, so I'm probably going to have a good talking to from some of them. But once again, all this is new. Lithium batteries have not been out that long. They've only been pushing them here in these motorcycles probably the last, 2 or 3 years. So a lot of things can happen, just like all this other stuff that happens, recalls on cars and all this. There's some cars that are 10 years old and they got recalls on them now. So who knows what could happen to these batteries another year or two down the road. They may tell you you can't put them in an older car or an older bike. So we're gonna leave you right here. Ride safe, stay safe, and don't let that battery blow up between your legs.